Zach Feltrop. Coach, tell him what you do here.
I'm the defensive coordinator
See, we got the right guy for the job, right? We're talking a little defense.
You know what? He does more than that. He actually does a whole lot and knows a whole lot about a whole lot of things.
Listen, just in case you're keeping score at home, some league ranking stuff for Super Bowl 52. Both are second in points per game, points against Eagles fourth. New England is fifth, yards per game, Eagles sixth, New England first. Pass yards per game, Eagles 14th, and yes, New England, we were talking about why they are number one, Tom Brady. And rush per game, Eagles third, New England 22nd. Time of possession, very important here. Eagles 32nd, New England 22. Sacks, Eagles 16, New England 9. That's where we begin, defense and sacks.
Hey, you forgot the one stat. Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
Yeah. 5.
5.
Yeah. Bill Belichick, 5.
Nick Foles.
None.
Not yet.
Okay.
All right.
By the way, 5.5 point spread still.
I don't know what that means. We don't know what that means here at Geneva. Just keep going.
Talking about the spread in the cafeteria for lunch I
Yes,
had today.
absolutely.
All right, I love their cafeteria, by the way. All right, listen, one thing that Philadelphia has, Jim Schwartz has proven, their pass rush is second to none. And we have talked about a lot of those people, including Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox. But Patrick Robinson, a cornerback with 5 interceptions, is someone else who's going to be key in this football game. Talk about Philadelphia's defense, Coach.
I'm actually glad you brought Robinson up because that's who we're going to focus on, him and then the pass rushers right here. So it's 3rd and 8, all right. Minnesota's up 7-0, all right. Minnesota's got the ball, driving on Philadelphia right here. They're going to show a little cover 2 look or 2-man look. They're going to line up like they're going to play man on this. So what's happening right here is they're in a nickel package, all right. So this is Chris Long right here. This is Brandon Graham. They got Fletcher Cox right here, and they got the other end on the other side. Okay. So what's coming right now is the way they run this now. They're running 3 defensive ends. Okay. So they're all 3 pass rushers and Fletcher Cox in the middle. So Chris Long is going to line up about 5 yards outside of the tackle. All right, which is really far out. The other tackle or the other end, Brandon Graham, is going to line up right head up on the offensive tackle. Okay. So these guys are going to have to fly out here to get these 2 pass rushers. So what happens on this play is Chris Long beats the tackle off the edge. All right, you got a little high-low concept over here, gets covered up by the corner, inside out. Mike ends up picking up this route coming across. Okay, the nickel back's going to go. Right now, he's got to get rid of the ball because Chris Long is hitting him in the chest right now. Okay, So quarterback gets rid of the ball, throws it right to Robinson. Robinson comes down over through here, scores a touchdown, 7-7. Eagles ended up winning, what was it, 41-7, something like that? So started the whole thing right there.
Boy, he's pretty good. Hey, listen.
Now, I'm going to tell you right now, if this happens this week, Brady's not even running that concept. He's coming back over here and running a smash concept to the left, getting the ball out.
All right, where's Malcolm Jenkins at here?
He was right here.
All right, so what about him as far as blitz packages with Coach Schwartz, the defense coordinator, and off the edge? How important is that?
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's great. I'll tell you what, though, with the pass rushers they have, I mean, when you play Brady and you can get to him with rushing 4 guys
right,
and bringing, putting 7 or max coverage out there, 8 in coverage, I mean, you don't have to do too much. So it's going to be a big thing. Like I heard you guys talking about, if Philly's defensive ends or they're up the middle can get pressure on Brady, I mean, it's not going to matter what's happening in the back. He's going to have to get the ball out of his hands quick or.
But he's the greatest at getting the ball out of his hands quick.
What are we looking at? 3 seconds?
3. I'm telling you right now, it's crazy. They're the quickest release in
Yeah.
the history of the
How do you
NFL.
really match these guys up against any other defensive line in the NFL?
Oh, well, you got 3 of the best, definitely 2 of the better premier pass rushers. I mean, Chris Long.
Even though Chris Long started with the St. Louis Rams, won a Super Bowl with New England last year, now he's with Philadelphia. Howie Long, of course, the incredible Hall of Famer for many years with the Oakland Raiders, Los Angeles Raiders, and now with Fox, with Bradshaw and Jimmy Johnson and that whole crew. Is he still an elite player in the league, in your opinion?
I think he's an elite pass rusher.
And that's why they got him.
Yeah, and that's why they got him. Because you got Brandon Graham right here. I mean, anytime you can get 3 defensive ends or 4 defensive ends, I mean, think about the Giants who, how many Super Bowls did Brady lose?
Yeah, what, 2?
2, yeah.
Yeah.
Who they play both times?
The Giants.
Yeah. What they have on defense?
Yeah.
Like 5 defensive ends that could all get to the pass rusher, right? So, right here, I mean, the man in the middle is Fletcher Cox. So, he's going to cave all this down right here. So, they're going to have to double him, chip him, anything.
And pretty much when it comes to Dion Lewis and running the football, it's just not going to happen with Cox, so they're gonna have to throw the football.
I mean, he's massive. He's huge. If he stand in front of his whiteboard, you wouldn't see anything. You know, he's enormous.
How come we don't have players like that? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
You know.
If I keep going to that cafeteria, I think you'll be ready to shoot me up. That's good food over there. Now listen, last thing, and then we'll kind of switch over to the New England defense. Tom Brady, audibilizing, being able to change things up. How important is he at that part of the game, especially with a team and Jim Schwartz who has the ability to bring it from all angles?
Oh, big time. I mean, anytime you're going to sit in the too high like this and play like Coach said, you know, if this is Brady and he sees this right now, he's coming back to this side, something over here, because he knows that he's going to try to hit this hole or take the flat all the way down the field, you know, and just kind of chew him up.
Okay, here we go now. New England actually does have a defense, ladies and gentlemen, even though they don't get enough credit. They should. Deron Harmon, safety, 4 interceptions. Trey Flowers, defensive end, 7 sacks. So let's kind of build with those two and work around them. What do you see when you think of the New England Patriots defense?
Well, I mean, first off, Belichick is just unbelievable defensive mind. I mean,
Even though Matt Patricia, the current guy going to Detroit, it's Belichick.
Well, I mean, listen, Patricia is you know, unbelievable also. But Belichick, you know, with the Giants and learning from Parcells and everybody, it's unbelievable.
How does he keep, here's what I saw trending, this is what I wanted to talk about at the end of the last video. How does he have the ability to keep getting these guys, players and coaches? That's something that people do not give Bill Belichick enough credit, why I think he's the greatest coach in the history of the NFL. He just keeps reinventing the wheel.
Well, because he's looking for a certain piece, all right, in this defensive puzzle. So if this piece is broken or injured or whatever, he's going to replace it with somebody that's very similar as far as style of play, maybe length as far as body type, and he knows. I mean, I do not believe that when he went after James Harrison, it was something to slap the Steelers in the face with. I don't believe that. I think
He just saw he could fill a need.
I thought he saw a guy that could get underneath somebody's shoulder pads, and he saw the fact that, you know, what he was looking at playing, and the fact that the guy plays with great leverage, no matter if he's 39, 40, or whatever. And, you know, James is another Super Bowl.
Okay, finish on the defense and we'll say goodbye. From Geneva College in Matheny Fieldhouse, go ahead.
The defense, I mean, the real key to Belichick is that he doesn't get caught up in any kind of scheme style. Like, he's not a 4-3 guy, or, you know.
Right.
If anything, it resembles actually what we play here at Geneva more than anything else. They run a 3-3. And they just plug guys in, and it's more about personnel going in, and they keep it fairly simple, but disguise everything. You know, they're going to play man or cover 3, or, you know, in other instances, they'll play some too high stuff.
So what
But-
you're telling is, I got a young Billy Belichick right here.
Well, you know, you're the one that installed it. I just ran it from here, so.
What made you do that? Just what he said?
What's that, to go to that kind of defense?
Yeah.
Is because there's,
Versatile.
it's very versatile. That's exactly what it is. It's very versatile, and you got a lot of different looks. You got 8 people standing up.
All right, let me just tell you, I got a busy weekend. Tomorrow, I'll be at Coons Market on McKnight Road Radio, noon to 3. We're going to be joined the noon hour by Bob Dvorak, 1 o'clock hour, Ted Arnaud, and then 2 o'clock, we're going to head on out to Minnesota to talk to Greg Diolis. And then a lot of stuff on my sports reports throughout the weekend, beginning at 5:15 each Saturday and Sunday morning. And then the full Monty, everything about Super Bowl 52 from 11 until 1 o'clock on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show. But I want to thank Coach, and Linda, and everyone here again for an exceptional night. So in closing, 5.5 points, and I know you know nothing about this, but it tells me that a lot of people believe Philadelphia is in this game. Are they in this game, in your opinion? From your earlier comments, I don't believe you feel that way, but there's something that tells me Nick Foles is making the most of a very good opportunity.
With all my heart, I would like to see Steph Wisniewski have a Super Bowl.
Right.
I really would. But with my head,
He's going to take a picture with Brady holding it. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
with my head, I just don't. I mean, Brady is going to go down as one of the greatest football players in the history of the NFL. And when they win this game, unfortunately, with that, they're going to take the greatest franchise in pro football, which, as a pure Steeler fan, just irritates me. But
Is he going to just keep this thing going?
I don't know. Go ahead.
Well, no, you said when they win. I'm a little bit, you know, I'm going to have to watch the game because, again, like I said, he's 0 for 2 against the Giants, and there's a lot of stuff the Eagles do that look like what the Giants did to him back in the day. The whole thing is if they can get pressure with 4, the Eagles are going to win. So.
I watched the Steelers against the Jaguars, had a horrible feeling about the Steelers' preparation for that game. More importantly, I think the Jaguars really wanted it. New England's been there before.
So what we'll do, next week, we'll come back and just do a recap right here, next Wednesday. Fair enough?
You got it. Anything for you, Ron.
No. Because I think we have to see if you really know what you're talking about or not.
I can tell you what, right now, I know absolutely nothing.
Okay.
But the young man that we coached, and one of his teammates just got hired by Andy Reid for this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
for
how about
Kansas
the
City
news
Chiefs.
trending today? Speaking of that, the Cleveland Browns actually offered Kansas City a second-round pick, but they didn't want to give an extension to Alex Smith. So Washington, Daniel Snyder obviously has a few dollars because he's worked hard for it. They gave him the big bucks, and now Alex Smith goes there. I think he makes Washington a real contender right now. And I think Andy has basically said we have to backpedal a little bit with McHolmes, who was our first-round selection, 10th player chosen overall, and we got to retool. But I think Washington is in a pretty good position right now with that pickup. I think he makes them a much better football team, Alex Smith.
Yeah, Alex Smith has got an unbelievable arm.
All right?
Yeah.
He's just nodding his head. So, ladies and gentlemen,
So
you've
we're-
got to go to class.
Yeah, I gotta go teach night class.
And it's okay.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
what you
excited
do.
about it.
By the way, I know your mom's been a little under the weather.
Yeah, she's gonna do great.
Allegheny Health Network, I know those folks, they do good work, and thoughts and prayers, and get well soon, Mrs. DeMarco. And for you, tell your parents, I said thank you for everything. Big supporters for many years when I was doing that other gig many years ago. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, whenever that may be, good night from Geneva College, College Hill, in beautiful Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania.